Hello everyone. I just wanted to make a video sermon today. I'm going to be in Isaiah 58, probably read just about the whole chapter in the King James Version of the Bible. To set it up, I just wanted to preview it and tell you that years ago, probably, I don't know, maybe 30 to 35 years ago or something like that, I was at Pleasant Grove. I think it was on a Thursday night. Back then they had church on Thursday night, and I went pretty good bit when I could. And that Brother Lige Holland was there that night visiting. I wasn't in the ministry, so I didn't plan on saying anything. I didn't say anything, and so being the visiting minister, Brother Lige got up. And Brother Elijah's been gone since June the 8th, I think it was, 1996. So at this present time, this is November of 2020, so he's been gone over 24 years. And so Brother Lige got up and he used to read a lot out of the Old Testament in church. And that night he got up and he read in the New Testament. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I remember thinking, wow, he's in the New Testament, which that's unusual or don't happen all the time. And he got through, and Brother Arthur said something to the effect that, well, Brother Elijah just went to the New Testament. What I have is in the Old, and I'll just go to the Old Testament. And he read this chapter. And I never forgot it, 30-something years. So it's Isaiah 58. And so in the King James Version of the Bible, and it says, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins." And he says, "Yet they seek me daily, and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness and forsook not the ordinance of their God." They ask me the ordinance of justice. They take delight in approaching to God. "Wherefore have we fasted," say they, "and thou seest not? Wherefore have we afflicted our soul, and thou takest no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast you find pleasure, and exact all your labors." We think of fasting, and we think about it in terms of not eating food, drinking water, or whatever. But I told our church, fasting could be just not speaking against somebody, just not expressing your opinion, just not saying anything negative about a person. If I could just refrain from that for about 2 weeks or forever, that would really be good. And so it's like fasting for food, though. I mean, it's something you do daily if you don't work at it, and it takes a lot of effort. He said, "Behold, you fast for strife and debate, and to smite with the fist of wickedness." Well, let me back up. It says, in the third verse, it said, "Behold, in the day of your fast you find pleasure, and exact all your labors." Have you ever seen anybody, I'm not saying this is what it means. I'm not saying that this is all that it means. But have you ever seen anybody that just gives what they think that they're supposed to give in terms of working for God? No more, no less. I mean, I'm through. That's my limit. That's what I do. Instead of just giving all out, I've preached about break the box. The woman had the alabaster box of ointment of spikenard, very precious. She broke the box. If she opened it, she could have closed it, but she broke it, meaning to me that she was going to use everything that she had. Exacting your labor, when I preach, I don't think, at church, I don't think, well, it's a Sunday morning and we're going to come back tonight and I need something. I don't need to preach all of this. I need to hold something. No, I just go on, and then if God has something else to give me, He will. Some people just give exactly. I know this is probably cornball, but years ago we didn't go to church, my family, and I believe it was a show called The Real McCoys with Walter Brennan, and I can't remember what the guy's name was, the son, but anyway, he went to night school when the teacher told him to write an essay of 25 words or less on something, why they wanted to take that class or whatever the subject was. And he was talking along there while he began to take the class, and he finally got down to the end. He said, and that is, and he just stopped. And the teacher said, yes. And she said, and that is? He said, and that is. And she said, that is what? What's the rest of it? He said, that is 25 words. He had counted out 25 words, and that's all he was going to give. I see people, this is just my own personal experience. You test it out for yourself. Don't just swallow hook, line, and sinker, but I'm just telling for me. When people's testifying, it seemed like they just stopped right in the middle of what they're telling. I know they concluded and said, pray for me or whatever they said, but it's like that they didn't get through. So anyway, exacting all your labor. Then he goes on down and he says, behold, you fast for strife and debate and smite with a fist of wickedness. You shall not fast as you do this day to make your voice heard on high. Is this a fast that I have chosen? That's what we need to think about when we fast. Is this what God would choose for us? Is this a fast that I have chosen for a day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Wilt thou call this acceptable fast and acceptable day? Wilt thou call this a fast and acceptable day to the Lord? Is not this the fast that I have chosen? To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke. That's the fast that he wants us to do. Is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry, and that thou can bring the poor that are cast out to thy house, when thou seest the naked, that thou cover him, and that thou hide not thyself from thine own flesh? Then shall thou, if you do these things, then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thy health shall spring forth speedily, and the righteous shall go before thee. Thy righteousness shall go before thee, and the glory of the Lord will be your reward. It'll be your reward. It'll be backing you up, and it's got you covered. Then shalt thou call. Yeah, after this, after you've done acceptable fast, then shalt thou call, and the Lord shall answer, and thou shalt cry, and he shall say, here I am. If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity. We easily point at other people, but there's three pointing back at us. If thou draw out thy soul to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday. You doing these things in private. You doing these things, it's some in public, I'm sure, but you doing these things. You helping people, saying about people, calling, checking on people, interested in people, and you'll come from the background to the forefront, and people will wonder where you even come from. Is this not the guy that was sitting on the piano bench a few years ago, and that sort of thing. They won't know. They won't be surprised, but God will make you recognized. And the Lord shall guide thee continually, and satisfy thy soul in drought, and make fat thy bones, and thou shalt be like a watered garden, and a spring of water whose waters fail not. And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places, and they shall raise up the foundation of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to walk in. You know, there's a little disagreement maybe sometimes between a husband and wife, or people at church, friends, or whatever. Instead of being somebody that will tear it and rent it a bigger tear, see if you can't be somebody that knit it back together and work for peace. The restorer of paths to dwell in. If thou shalt if thou shalt turn thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shalt honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. That's what I'm talking about. If the Lord has spoken, it doesn't matter what somebody's pronounced against you. If God is for you, who can be against you? I don't care who has spoken for you. If God's against you, it won't make any difference. But I just thought I'd tell you about this. This was on my mind. And I can feel it today. That somebody out here needs this. You've been trying to get the Lord to look at you. You've been trying different ways. But just consider this. Not talk about people. Not look down on people. Not make fun of people. But boost people up. So I've enjoyed getting this to you today. I really want to help you. I care about you. I love you. I'm going to give you my phone number, 256-508-4410. If you need me, just leave me a message if I don't answer it. And if I can't get right back to you, I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. May the Lord bless you. May this message be the help that somebody needs today.